Another Mining Spotlight. I'm presenting you Rowena Smith, Managing Director for Australian Strategic Materials. Thank you. Please give a warm welcome for Rowena.
Hello, and thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here today providing you with an overview of the story for Australian Strategic Materials, or ASM. We're building a rare earths and critical minerals business to provide those high-tech metals that are needed to support the clean energy transition. And our strategy is to go from mine all the way through to metal. So that will start with the polymetallic resource that we have in New South Wales in Australia, our Dubbo project, which is an advanced project that once it's in operation we will both mine there, but we will also do the midstream processing there of taking the product all the way through to high purity oxides. And offtake partners for that project can either take that product directly into their supply chains, or given that that supply chain largely does not exist outside of China at the moment, they also have the option of taking it through the metallisation and alloying processes with us in one of our metals plants. We've already built the first of our metals plants in South Korea. That's been in production since 2022, and we're currently making their neodymium praseodymium metal, as well as that specialist alloy, the NdFeB alloy, which is the major constituent of the high-performance magnets that are an essential component in the wind turbines, in the electric vehicles, and a lot of the other clean technologies. You can ask, all right, well, if that's already in production, and I've told you Dubbo is an advanced but not yet in production, then where are we getting our feed from? And we have sourced a number of China-free alternative sources for our materials, and we would intend to use those prior to Dubbo coming online, but also longer term to supplement the materials that we have to be able to grow the business. And one of the things that we're also talking to potential off-takers for Dubbo is, in addition to expanding the facility that we have there in Korea, is duplicating that in other jurisdictions. And there's particularly strong interest about duplicating that metals plant here in Europe and or the UK and or the US. So we are ASX listed. We have an extremely experienced and strong board and management team leading the business. We're in a strong cash position. We had $38 million as at the last quarter, and really well set up to be able to deliver on the potential for this business. So starting with the Dubbo project, I said before it's polymetallic. So we do have those light rare earths, the neodymium and the praseodymium, but we also have a high proportion of the heavy rare earths, the dysprosium and the terbium, which is unusual. And we have three other materials that are listed on the critical minerals lists, the zirconia, the hafnia, and the niobium. And we're seeing particularly strong interest at the moment in the hafnia, as there are a number of emerging applications for that in the semiconductor industry, and we're seeing growth in that opportunity. The project that we have there in Dubbo is a long life resource. We have 70 years of resource already identified, and all the economics of this project are based on the first 20 years of that, which we've taken through to reserve. We are in a fantastic jurisdiction. There's a big difference in Australia between regional and remote. We are regional, which means that we are within New South Wales, close to existing infrastructure, and we're actually situated in the region in New South Wales that has been earmarked as the renewable energy zone, where the New South Wales government are setting up to be able to provide those energy sources for industrial partners in that region. We are construction ready. We have done all our development of our flow sheet. We've been working with ANSTO for over 15 years. We've had a demonstration facility for over 10 years. So this project and flow sheet is comprehensively tested. And we have got all our environmental approvals in place, both at state and federal level. So this is genuinely construction ready. We're working with Bechtel Engineering on the final engineering. And we have been doing it all the way through to very high standards. You can see there with the ESG note at the bottom there, the Sustainalytics sort of logo there. We do have a a public rating through the Sustainalytics rating system that does rank us in the top 10% of diversified metals businesses across globally that they have assessed, which particularly for a business of our size and our age, we're very proud of. So where are we at with the Dubbo project? What we've been doing recently, Bechtel have just finished the work for us on the engineering of the non-processing infrastructure. So that work was let to them earlier this year and is now complete. And we have awarded them, with the assistance of the US Export-Import Bank, we have awarded them the contract for the final engineering that will take us through to support the bankable feasibility study. So that work, we haven't commenced that work yet because we're just doing some final work on optimising the flow sheet first, and we just received $5 million grant from the Australian federal government to do this final bit of optimisation work, which will enable us to just see where the opportunity is potentially to stage this so that we do the rare earths in a first stage, which would be at less than half the capital for that first stage. We can get that up and going and then be able to take that through into a second phase to then be able to do the zirconia, the hafnia and the niobium, financing that second stage off the revenue that's coming from the first stage. So we're just doing this work at the moment. You can see the timeline there at the moment. We're anticipating that this rare earths options assessment will be finished in first half. Indeed, we're targeting first quarter of next year. And then we will be in a position where we can then take our final investment decision in mid-26 and have this first production in 28. We are getting a huge amount of government support. So I've mentioned US Exim already, but you can see there, in addition to the monies that they have given us a letter of interest for that final engineering work, they've also given us in US dollars, $600 million letter of interest for the construction phase. So when we convert that to Australian dollars, you can see there are over $900 million Aussie from the US government for the construction phase. In addition, we recently got a letter of interest from the Canadian Export Bank for $400 million, and that's in combination with the $200 million we already had from the Australian federal government's EFA. So very strong support for the debt side of the work that we're doing. We're still working through the equity side. We are looking and talking with a number of sovereign funds for that equity, including in Australia. So you can see there the Critical Minerals Facility, the National Reconstruction Fund, but also we are talking in the US around accessing the US Department of Defense funds, and we are in progress with a number of applications for grant funding towards this project, as well as in Korea, as well as talking to some of the European funds that are interested in participating as well. So a lot of discussion there in government, but what we're really focusing on is trying to get those offtake partners to be able to underpin the equity side. So I did want to just show you our Korean metals plant. I get asked a lot whether or not this is a dirty facility and whether or not, this is got an environmentally dirty footprint. And no, it isn't. It's a very clean, extremely well-run facility and one that we are extremely proud of. We made a commitment that we would be net zero carbon from commencement of operation, and I'm very pleased to say that we have, for the first 2 years of operation, been able to confirm that we've met that commitment. We are here in this facility working through doing technical validations with a number of magnet producers globally in Europe, in the US and in Korea, because all of these alloy products are all specific to the magnets and the magnet producers. They're their own IP. So there's quite an involved process in doing that. But we've been doing that now for some time, and we've had sign-off on with 2 new customers just in recent months, and we've got another 2 in progress. So we are just at the point here where we are poised, ready to grow as this global magnets market does grow. We're also looking to extend our metallisation technology there to the heavy rare earths as well, with the dysprosium and the terbium, and they're anticipated to be ready for commercial production next year. So that is ASM. We're building an alternative global supply chain for these rare earths and critical minerals. We're already in production in Korea with the high-tech metals and alloys. We've got incredibly strong government support for our project, both in Australia and in Korea, and we have the Dubbo project that is construction ready and really just at the point now where we want to finalise our offtake parties and finalising that equity side of our funding stack to be able to move forward. But we certainly are moving forward at the moment on a strong footing with that $1.5 billion of debt funding already secured. Thanks very much for your time.